Yeah, so we have seen the primitive data structures like int, float, and all. Suppose consider this is the memory space allocated for our program. In this program, we are allocating the memory space for a variable called a variable called a. So a is there, and some garbage value will be there in the value until you give something. So this is what it will happen. So when you try to declare a variable, this is what will happen. Some garbage value will be there. When you wanted to assign some value, so when after this particular statement get executed, the value will be changed to 10. So this we know it. This we know from the beginning. This is what we are doing from the day one. So now consider that you wanted to store um, you wanted to store your marks. You have three subject marks like maths, physics, and chemistry. You have three subject marks. In the mathematics, you got 45 marks. In chemistry, you got in physics, you got 39 marks, and in chemistry, you got 59 marks. Sorry, not 14, 49 marks. So these are the marks that you have attained in one particular year of your intermediate. So when you are in intermediate standard, only three subject marks are enough for us. Only three subject marks are enough. But consider that you entered into your, you can remember these three variable names, you can assign some value to it, so that will be sufficient for us. So let us assume that you entered into your BTech class. So per semester you will be having eight different subjects, at least of eight different subjects, like all together, like theory and laboratories all together you will have eight subjects. So per year you will be having 16 subjects. So 16 into 4, 4 years, right? So per semester 8, per year 16. Like that, you have 4 years. That is nothing but 16 into 4. That is 64 subjects. You will have 64 subjects altogether in BTech. 4 years. 4 years, 64 subjects in BTech. So let us assume that you want to store all these things. Subject 1, subject 2, so on. You have to store 64 subjects. 64 subjects. So we can do that. We can do that by having 64 variables. We can store 64 values, no doubt about it. But definitely there will be an ambiguity. Definitely there will be an ambiguity. So what I have to store, what I have to store for this particular subject, what is that 64 subject, what is 48 subject, you will have that ambiguity all the time. What is that particular variable used for? I don't know, I don't remember, I can't remember 64 variable names in my mind. So as we all are human beings, it is not possible for us to store all those things in our memory. We cannot memorize all of them. Let us assume for the same purpose, I wanted to access everything with one single variable, and you wanted to access all those 64. So that is why we are using arrays. That is why we are using. This is the first derived data type we are using. First derived data type that we are using. That we have learned with derived data type, which is also called as data structure. Data structure. Because this data structure is having its own way of data manipulation procedures. You wanted to manipulate data in that particular data structure. It has its own mechanism, like a of 0, a of 1, a of 64. Your own mechanism is there. So arrays has its own mechanism to manipulate the data present in that particular memory location. Here, the memory location, the A of 1 will have a 25 value. But here, when it comes after the execution of this particular statement, the value will be overwritten with 45. The value will be overwritten with 45. So arrays have its own mechanism. So we have seen, if you have three subjects, we can maintain with three variables. As the number goes on increasing, you have to come with arrays. Arrays is nothing but homogeneous elements, homogeneous elements referred with a common name, yes. And here we already said that S is also can be represented as a pointer. S can be represented as a pointer also, that we have seen all that particular things. And the next concept is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous. Heterogeneous is nothing but a group of different data types, group of variables of different data types grouped together, can be accessed with a common name. Yeah, please. Somebody raised your hand. What is the doubt? So this is the definition of a structure. A group of variables belong to heterogeneous data type, which belong to heterogeneous data types grouped together in a continuous memory locations and can be accessed with a common name. So that is the definition of a structure. So now we will see how to use structure. What are the advantages of that particular structure? Now we will see in this class. What is a structure? So if you formally try to define something, the definition of a structure, this is how it will be looking like. So structure is a collection of different data types grouped together under a single name for easier data manipulation. For easier data manipulation. So structure is heterogeneous in that it can be composed of data of different types. So if you see the example on the left hand side, if you see the example on the left hand side, this is the keyword. Struct is the keyword, and this is the structure name. Structure name, which is nothing but you are creating your own new data type. You are creating your own new data type. So that the name of that particular data type is book. That book have three variables. That book has three variables. What are those three variables? Number, author array, cost. Number, author array, cost. If you see, the three data types are there. Data type 1, data type 2, data type 3. Integer, char, float. You are clubbing all these three things. You are clubbing all these three things into a new data type called book. And for that data type, you are creating a variable B. You are creating a variable B. So structure is a heterogeneous in that can be composed of different data types, which can be compiled. Is my voice audible now? Can somebody tell me whether my voice is perfect or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what it is happening in array. Everything will be in homogeneous. All the things will be same. same data type, but here you are creating your own new data type with a help of the keyword struct, and that data type what you are creating will have these properties. Heterogeneous elements are grouped together. Heterogeneous elements are grouped together. You wanted to group any number of things. నీకు అవసరం ఉంది అంటే రిలేటెడ్ గా నువ్వు అంతా కలిపి ఒక గ్రూప్ చేయాలి అనుకుంటే you can put n number of variables, n number of data types together. రెండు ఇంటిజర్లు, 10 ఫ్లోట్లు, 10 క్యారెక్టర్ అరేస్. You can group n number of things according to your need. If your problem arises, if your problem requires these things all to be grouped together, then you can create your own data type called structure with the keyword struct, and the name what you are keeping for your data type, that is book. And what does this book contains of? This book contains of three different data types, and the three different variables of that particular data types are number, author array, cost. For the data type what you have created book, you have to create a variable, right? Integer a. So that a is a variable, integer is the data type. For the data type what you have created book, you should have a variable name. This is what that variable name is, b. So this is the structure, syntax of the structure. So this is how you need to declare or define a structure. This is definition of a structure. This is definition of a structure. And this b variable, this is declaring. So like you are saying, right, int was there. Who wrote that int? stdio.h. So in standard C library, integer is a keyword that was there in the C compiler. But here in this example, this book you are only writing, right? So this is defining. This is defining, and you are declaring a variable like int a. This is declaration. This is declaration. We will see how we can declare and all. If you see the below example, which was written here, this is what we have written. So we are creating a data type called book with the keyword struct. So s small. So as this is PPT, s came larger. Excuse me. S is small letter. S is small letter. So example. So if you see the student record, student record has your student registration number, your name will be there, major in the sense department, which department you belong to, gender, which year you have started. All such kind of information can be stored. See, anything you can be stored, whether you are having NSF scholarship or not, whether you are fees reimbursement category or management category or like a spot admission. So anything can be maintained, but according to your problem, what is the data that is required, that has to be grouped together. So in this example, so like if you see the bank account will have bank account number. So who is the holder, bank account holder name, what currency they are dealing it. For suppose I have a demat account, I have an account in USA also. So in USA my currency will be there in dollars. The same account, if you have international account, SBI account you can have, or any bank account you can have. So you will have the balance in both currencies, Indian currency and whatever the nation you applied for, both currencies it can be done. Or if you want to have an international account, they'll be having dollars. Everything will be maintained in dollars, and which currency it has to be there, what is the bank balance, such kind of fields were there. N number of fields you can maintain according to your problem, what is required, that we have to make the structure. So here, if you take the example of employee, struct employee, I have my ID 25064, my employee ID is there, my name, so which is of character array, PAVAN, so that is character array, and what is my salary. My salary can contain floating point value because of the deductions which are done in my salary. So it might be a floating point value also. So in this way, this is my structure. So this I'm creating a new data type called employee, which has three different fields. Like how are those three different fields? Like this it will be there. As I said in the definition yesterday's class, structure is a collection of heterogeneous elements grouped together and stored in continuous memory locations, can be accessed by a single variable name, that is structure variable. Here in this example, they started from 1000 and stored in continuous memory locations. Stored in continuous memory locations. Stored in continuous memory locations. And which can be accessed by a common name, variable name called EMP. So can anybody tell me what is this EMP here now?
Employee.
It's a structure variable. Employee, it is correct. It is a structure variable for the structure what we have created employee now. So we have created a structure called employee, and that employee has a variable EMP, which means this EMP is having three different values: ID, name, salary. ID, name, salary. So if you see the example, you know how to calculate the size of an integer by using size of operator or size of function. So if you see size of int 4 bytes, size of char 1 byte, size of float 4 bytes. So you can do anything. 2 bytes also can be there. So we have decided to use 2 bytes only for integer. So 2 bytes. So or in this example we have taken 4 bytes. So what is the size of this complete EMP variable? So it has an integer, it has a float, it character array, it has a float. Altogether 4 plus 10 plus 4, 18 bytes of space is there. Each block, each block represents 1 byte of space. Each block represents 1 byte of space. With this, the employee structure needs 18 bytes of memory to store three different values. And how to access these three different values? So this is how you write it in your program. So void main. And now first I wanted to, because all the declaration has to be done in the local declaration part. So local declaration, I am declaring a structure, I am defining a structure, and I am declaring a variable. So variable yes was there. So next I wanted to enter data. So you will write ampersand of that particular variable, right, to store in the particular address. Just a minute. So so this is how you are declaring a variable, you are declaring a structure. So in the local declaration section with the keyword struct, so you are creating a new structure. You are creating the new structure called student, which has three names. How you wanted to access those three values? With yes dot number, yes dot name. So I wanted to give this yes. So this yes can be represented like this yes dot number. This number belongs to the variable yes. So yes dot number. So this is how we try to store the values into that particular structure. And how do you display it? Just like how you are storing with yes dot number, you will try to display with yes dot number. So this is a simple example for structures. And structures with multiple variables. You wanted to create multiple variables. For example, student. So one student here we have done. One student we have done in this example. In hello world structures, with one student we have done. We have maintained one student data. One student data we have maintained. So we will see how it is happening for one student. So we have three things. So yes has three things: number, name, fee. Number, name, fee. And this number belongs to integer, char of 10. This is float. And we know integer requires 2 bytes, character array uh, 2 bytes, character array in 10 bytes, float requires 4 bytes. Altogether, it requires 2 plus 10 plus 4 is nothing but 16 bytes of memory is required. 16 bytes of memory is required for this structure. 16 bytes required for this structure. Yes. For this structure, yes. Okay. Now in my program, I wanted to assign value to this particular structure. This particular structure. This particular structure. And I know that this number belongs to an integer data type. So I wanted to store, get the value from the user. So what is the data format specifier for integer? Scanf. So I know the format specifier for integer percentage d, and where I have to store, I have to store in the variable number no. So I will write ampersand of no. So this is for a regular variable. This is for a regular variable. But here no is not a regular variable. No belongs to the data type in the structure. Yes. So it has to be referred. It has to be referred. S dot number. S dot number. So this is how it will be there. If it is a normal variable, I would have done with no. If it is a normal variable, I would have done with no. But here it is not a normal variable. This variable belongs to the structure yes. So it has to be represented like this. This has to be represented like this. When this statement got executed, the user has given the value 10. So then the 10 will come and occupy in this memory location. 10 will come and occupy in this memory location. So next, getters of char name. Getters of name. So when I did this, the name Pavan will be coming here. The name Pavan will be coming here. When I do this, again I have to do in a, and I should not do name here. This name is if you do the general thing, but name is not a general thing. Name belongs to structure yes. So yes dot name. And in the same way, scanf. And what is the format specifier for float? uh, percentage f, and it has to be stored in the phi variable of structure. Structure variable lo s అనే structure లో phi అనే variable లో store అవ్వాలి. So when I do this and the user enters 14.5, this is how the structure values will be there. So now for this structure, how much memory is allocated? Sum of the sizes of individual data types, that is 16 bytes, is allocated for this structure, and the variables int, char and float can be accessed with the help of dot operator. Can be used with the help of dot operator. Dot operator, which is called reference operator. You can call dot operator as reference operator. Any doubts? Any doubts? But till this point, how a structure is created, how we are able to access the names of different variables in this particular structure, what we have created. Any doubts till this point? Okay, clear. So then we will move on to the next subject, next concept with multiple variables. Now we have seen with one variable and how it is happening with multiple variables. How it is happening with multiple variables. Like, so we have seen the example here. For one student we have created. For one student we have created like this. If you want to create for second student, if you want to create for second student, it is the same thing. Nothing gets changed. Nothing gets changed here. Nothing gets changed here for the second student. Second student also it remains the same. The same thing will happen. The same thing will happen. But the structure name is different. The structure name is different. Because you are creating second structure and the name of the second structure is S2. The name of the second structure is S2. So that is why you have to change the structure or variable name, structure variable name. So that's how you can create multiple structure variables also. Multiple structure variables also. This is how the memory will be allocated. The memory again will be allocated for this particular student is 16 bytes. 16 bytes when we are considering 2 bytes for an integer. So this is how it will happen. You want to create one more structure variable for the same structure. Okay, no problem. We will create S3. Same thing. Again, these values, the new structure variable has to be there. Same thing. It was created. The structure memory allocated for the new structure with 16 bytes of memory with three heterogeneous data types like integer, character, and float. And this is how we'll try to get the values from the user from the keyboard. The same thing is happening. So same thing we have represented in a program here. So in the main function, we have created a structure which has three different three different data types, and we are not declaring the variable here. We are not declaring the variable here. We are declaring it separately. We are declaring it separately. Struct student. What are the variables that you want to create? How many students you want to create? S1, S2, S3. So with the same thing, you wanted to get the details and you want to store. Okay, S1 student name, S1 name, S1 fee. All these things were read in a single statement here. Like that, all three students, and you wanted to display all the information of the students, you can directly display like this. And next, coming with array of structures. So see this example. Here we have taken three students. మనం ఇక్కడ త్రీ స్టూడెంట్స్ తీసుకున్నాం. త్రీ స్టూడెంట్స్ సపరేట్ గా పెట్టాం. ఇప్పుడు మనం డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి, మన యారే యొక్క డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి, మనకి వేరియబుల్స్ నుంచి యారేస్ కిందకు వచ్చాం. 64 ఉన్నాయి, అన్ని సపరేట్ నేమ్స్ తో పిలుచుకోవాలి. అలా సపరేట్ నేమ్స్ తో పిలుచుకోకుండా ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు గివ్ ఎ కామన్ నేమ్ ఫర్ ఆల్ దోస్ 64, and for my easy access I made it into a single variable and I have created a new thing called array. Here also the same example. So 64 structures. ఇప్పుడు మీ క్లాస్ లో 67 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు. 67 మెంబర్స్ కి నేను 67 స్ట్రక్చర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసి 67 వేరియబుల్ నేమ్స్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. సో ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు రిడ్యూస్ మై అంబిగ్యూటీ ఇన్ ద కోడ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐఎమ్ రైటింగ్, I wanted to group all these 67 together and give a common name, which is nothing but I wanted to create an array of structures. An array of structures which is like this. Which is like this. So here I am trying to, so if you are having an array, defaultly you have to use for loop to get the data. There is no other way that we can get the data from the user in a different manner. So if you have an array, default it is mandatory to use a for loop to get the data into array from the user one by one. For that, I am getting the data from the user and storing into respective index positions. Let me tell you how it is working. Let me tell you how it is managed in the memory. So let us say, so what is the thing we are creating? So for S1, for S is a data, for S1 we are having one integer, 10 characters, and we have a float. Three data types were belong to this S1. So which is nothing but these three are grouped together. So S1 are grouped together like this. It is grouped. So S of 0 is grouped together, and in the same way, this is S1, S of 0, and this will be S of 1. So like this, your memory will be created in, so if it is 1000, you know, this requires 16 bytes, so this will be 1016, and this will be 1032. This is how array of structures are represented. 1002, 1012. Address. You know, always index is represented on top, the variable name will be in the center, address will be represented in the bottom. So this is how the memory is managed in array of structures. If you see here, if you see this example, this is if it is 1000, this is if it is 1000. So there is no rule that it has to be again 1016. It will be something like this. It will be something like this because this is not an array. This is an individual structure. This is an individual structure. They are uh, uh, the memory got allocated at different places. But here in this example, we are creating an array of structures. An array of structures. What is the definition of an array? It has to be stored in a continuous memory locations. Like this in continuous memory locations 1000, 16 bytes required for one structure. So which is nothing but 1016. A next structure will be memory will be allocated. That is the difference between a general structure and an array of structures. So you have seen how it is programmatically working. This is array of structures. And the next part is how to pass structure to a function. So how to pass structure to a function. Like how we will pass array to a function, the same thing is happening here. In the same way, we will pass the structure to an function. So this is how we try to do. Outside of main also we can declare. So which is nothing but this is global structure. Now this structure becomes global. You can declare a variable globally or you can declare a variable locally. So int a can be written outside the main function or we can write the same thing inside the main function. In the same way, we can declare the structure, define the structure outside of main function. Now this becomes a global variable, global structure. The structure can be accessed by any function. Vishwanath, చెప్పు.
సార్ ఒకవేళ వేరియబుల్ ని గ్లోబల్ లోనే డిక్లేర్ చేసినప్పుడు దాన్ని మళ్ళీ పిలవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉండదు కదా సార్ మెయిన్ లో.
అంటే నువ్వు చెప్పాలిగా ఏ ఫంక్షన్ నుంచి ఎక్కడికి పిలవక్కర్లేదు అంటే డిక్లేర్ చేయక్కర్లా. నువ్వు వేరియబుల్ s1 ఇక్కడ పెట్టావు అనుకో అప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఇది డిక్లేర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. నేను ఇక్కడ పెట్టలా s1 అని. If you clear observely, I have not given the variable name s1 when I am defining the structure. I have declared it separately. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we try. So this is definition of the structure. Definition of the structure called student. Now for this student, I have to declare a variable name. I have to declare a variable. So struct student s1. Struct student s1. So this s1 belongs to which data type? To this student data type. What is this student data type consist of? One character, one name, one age. Three things are there. So yeah. So here in this particular character, in this particular example, we have only two fields for the student, name, age. And now I wanted to get that name. Give character. Sorry, that came into a new line. That's why I have to. Yeah. So I have two fields. I have two fields. So that's why I've given with different color combinations. So the violet color represents the definition of a structure. Green color represents the definition of a main function, which is user defined function. And red color represents the definition of another user defined function called display, which accept structure as an argument. Argument and parameter are same, which accepts structure as an argument. So I have this as common. So I have read the values. I have read the values like this. So read the values and stored in that particular variables of name and age. That is done. Okay. Now I am passing the structure s1. So ఇప్పుడు నేను స్ట్రక్చర్ లో కాకుండా నార్మల్ గా కాల్ చేయాలి అంటే I can display here itself, right? I can display here itself. I can display here itself. ఇలా కాకుండా I wanted to pass మీ కాన్సెప్ట్ తెలియడం కోసం we can pass structures also as argument to a function. ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ తెలియటం కోసమే డిస్ప్లే అనే ఒక సపరేట్ ఫంక్షన్ రాసాం. ఆ ఫంక్షన్ లో వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ ద డిస్ప్లే ఫంక్షన్ అండ్ పాసింగ్ ద స్ట్రక్చర్ యాజ్ ఎ పారామీటర్ ఆర్ అన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ ఇన్ దట్ డిస్ప్లే ఫంక్షన్. ఎందుకంటే మనం స్ట్రక్చర్ ని కదా కాల్ చేస్తోంది. ఒక ఇంటిజర్ అయితే ఇంటి వేరియబుల్ ఏ అని రాసుకుంటున్నాగా ఇక్కడ, ఇంటి ఏ అని రాసుకుంటున్నాగా. అలాగే స్ట్రక్చర్ ని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తోంది కాబట్టి స్ట్రక్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ ఎస్, ఒక స్ట్రక్చర్ ని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తోంది కాబట్టి స్ట్రక్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ ఎస్ అన్నాం. అంటే ఈ S1 లో ఉన్న ఎంటైర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ విల్ కమ్ అండ్ సిట్ ఇన్ దిస్ వేరియబుల్ ఎస్, will come and sit in this variable yes. With this particular information, we are trying to print the information present in that particular structure in the function called display. In the function called display. And the next one, complex structures. And the next one is complex structure. Complex structure is nothing but one data type. Structure అంటే ఏంటి? heterogeneous types. heterogeneous data types ఉంటాయి. కాంప్లెక్స్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే నీకు ఉన్న అన్ని హెటరోజీనియస్ డేటా టైప్స్ లో మినిమం వన్ డేటా టైప్ షుడ్ బి ఆఫ్ కాంప్లెక్స్ టైప్. మినిమం వన్ డేటా టైప్ షుడ్ బి ఆఫ్ కాంప్లెక్స్ టైప్. ఒక్క డేటా టైప్ అయినా కాంప్లెక్స్ డేటా టైప్ ఉండి తీరాలి. సో అప్పుడే దాన్ని కాంప్లెక్స్ డేటా టైప్ అంటాం. ఫర్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఒక స్ట్రక్చర్ లో ఇంకొక డేటా స్ట్రక్చర్. సో లెట్ us కన్సిడర్ మై కరెంట్ థింగ్. నా డేటానే ఉంది. ఐఎమ్ ఎన్ ఎంప్లాయీ ఆఫ్ విఆర్ సిద్ధార్థ. ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు స్టోర్ ద డేటా ఆఫ్ వన్ ఎంప్లాయీ. When you want to do that, I have an address, one variable called address. ఆ అడ్రస్ లో ఏమున్నాయి? కంట్రీ ఉంది, సిటీ ఉంది, స్ట్రీట్ ఉంది, అడ్రస్ ఫీల్డ్ అని ఉంది. దాని అంతటికి కలిపి ఒక సింగిల్ వేరియబుల్ అడ్రస్. వీ హావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ అన్ అడ్రస్. సో దిస్ has a variable called address which is of structure type. So when you have structure inside a structure, you know what is array inside an array, which is nothing but double dimensional array. In the same way, we have complex structure inside the structure. So the next concept is union. Union no structure anta same to same. The only difference will be is there we will be using struct keyword, here we will be using union keyword. But the one major difference which has to be noticed is shared with the max size of all the variables. Unions have only one location. Unions will have only one location where the maximum memory allocated for this block. So ఇక్కడ ఈ బ్లాక్ లో 3 వేరియబుల్స్ ఉన్నాయండి. నంబరు, నేమ్, కాస్ట్. ఈ మూడిటిలో కల్లా మాక్సిమం నంబర్ ఆఫ్ బైట్స్ ఏ డేటా టైప్ కి అలొకేట్ అయ్యింది? సో ఇంటిజర్ కి 2 బైట్స్, క్యారెక్టర్ array కి 10 బైట్స్ అయ్యింది, ఫ్లోట్ కి ఏమో 4 బైట్స్ వచ్చింది. సో హియర్ the maximum thing used is the maximum thing used is 2, 10, 4. So here the maximum used for 10. So 10 use అయింది కాబట్టి 10 bytes of memory మాత్రమే allocate అవుతుంది ఈ యూనియన్ కి. This union will be allocated only with 10 bytes. 10 bytes allocate అవుతుంది. All these 3 things will share the common memory location, and this is managed automatically by the compiler or the operating system with the concept called memory management. Just ఎప్పుడైనా బిట్స్ లో అడిగితే తెలియాలని చెప్తున్నాము. దిస్ ఇస్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్స్. సో మెమరీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అనేది మీకు లేదు C programming language syllabus lo. You will learn this memory management in other programming language called Java. So there you will learn clearly how the memory is managed and all. So this is managed automatically. Apart from this, there is no doubt or no change with structures. Whatever the things you are able to do in structures, You are able to do the same things in union in same manner. ఏ విధంగా స్ట్రక్చర్ లో నువ్వు డేటాను యాక్సెస్ చేసావో, you will access the data of the union also in the same way. How you are declaring a variable in a structure, you will declare the variable here also in the same way. Same way you will try to declare the variable in union. Same way you will try to assign the value for the variable belongs to a union. Structure of unions, complex unions, all the things are same. Only difference is this keyword. There you will use struct, here you will use union. Everything remains the same. And this is the summarization of the entire difference between structure and union. See, the first difference, each member is assigned its own unique storage area. ప్రతి దానికి ఇట్లా ఒక స్టోరేజ్ ఏరియా క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. Like if you see the pointer here, so every byte, every variable will have its own memory allocation. But in union, what is the maximum of three things here? ఒక ఇంటూ ఫ్లోట్ క్యారెక్టర్ లో మ్యాక్స్ మెమరీ దేనికి ఎలకేట్ అవుద్ది? ఫ్లోట్ కి ఎలకేట్ అవుద్ది. ఎంత? 4 bytes. ఆ 4 bytes ఈ మూడిటికి ఎలకేట్ అవుతుంది. Here all total memory required for all members allocated. మొత్తం అంతా ఎంత అవుతుందో అంత allocate అవుతుంది. Maximum required by the member is allocated. So here 4 bytes is allocated, here 7 bytes is allocated. Character కి 1 byte, integer కి 2 bytes, float కి 4 bytes. 1, 2, 4, 7 bytes. ఇక్కడ 4 bytes మెమరీ మాత్రమే allocate అవుతుంది. ఎవరెవరికి? C కి, B కి, A కి ముగ్గురికి కలిపి 4 bytes మాత్రమే allocate అవుతుంది. Like this it will be allocated. Like this it will be allocated. సో ఇలా బాక్సెస్ గీసుకున్న తర్వాత ఏది పెద్దగా ఉందో చూసుకొని దానికి మెమరీ allocate అవుతుంది. 4 bytes of memory will be allocated. So only one member is active at a time. Active at a time అంటే సో ది ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ విల్ ట్రై టు మేనేజ్. ఇందులో ఒక్క వాల్యూ మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. వెన్ ఎవర్ యు అసైన్డ్ ఇట్, నువ్వు అసైన్ చేస్తే ఉంటది, అది తీసుకెళ్ళి ఎక్కడో వేసేస్తుంది. ర్యామ్ స్పేస్ లో ఉండదు, ర్యామ్ స్పేస్ లో ఉండదు. ఇట్ విల్ క్రియేట్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ మెమరీ. దాని సొంతంగా అది ఎక్కడో చోట తీసుకెళ్లి వేసేస్తుంది. వెన్ యూ వాంట్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ వాల్యూ, ఇట్ విల్ బ్రింగ్ ఇట్ బ్యాక్ అండ్ ఇట్ విల్ స్టోర్ ఇట్, గివ్ ఇట్ బ్యాక్ టు యూ. దట్ ఈస్ ద ఓన్లీ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అండ్ యూనియన్. 4 bytes ఉందండి, దాంట్లో నువ్వు తీసుకొచ్చి ఒక ఫ్లోట్ పాయింట్ వేసావు, ఓకే డన్. నువ్వు ఇప్పుడు ఒక దాంట్లో తీసుకెళ్లి ఇంటిజర్ వేయాలనుకుంటున్నావు, అప్పుడు దట్ ఫ్లోట్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్ సమ్వేర్ ఎల్స్. ఎక్కడో చోట తీసుకెళ్ళిపోయి స్టోర్ చేస్తుంది. నువ్వు ప్రెసెంట్ వేసిన లాస్ట్ వేసిన 10 మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. ఇంటిజర్ వేరియబుల్ 10 వేసావు కదా, ఆ ఇంటిజర్ వేరియబుల్ 10 మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది ఆ 4 bytes ఆఫ్ స్పేస్ లో. ఆఫ్టర్వర్డ్స్ వెన్ యూ వాంట్ టు గెట్ దట్ ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ అగైన్, ఈ ఇంటిజర్ తీసుకెళ్లి ఎక్కడో చోట స్టోర్ అవుద్ది, ఆ ఫ్లోట్ తీసుకొచ్చి ఇందులో పెడుతుంది. సో ఓన్లీ వన్ వాల్యూ విల్ బి ఇన్ యాక్టివ్ స్టేట్. దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ a union and a structure. See this particular third point. That is the difference between the structure and the union. All members can be initialized. అన్ని ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, బట్ ఇక్కడ ఓన్లీ ఫస్ట్ మాత్రమే ఇనిషియలైజ్ అవుతుంది. ఫస్ట్ మెంబర్ ఓన్లీ విల్ బి ఇనిషియలైజ్. రిక్వైర్స్ మోర్ మెమరీ, రిక్వైర్స్ లెస్ మెమరీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ ఫాస్టర్, it is executed slower. Union is slower because the memory has to be managed automatically by it. It's an extra complication for it. So this will be a little bit slower than it. So 4 bytes will be allocated because B requires maximum size. So that is today's class. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now.